This is a message to some black South Africans, not everyone, because most black South Africans are passive, undereducated, not serious about work, entitled, lazy, and just self-destructive. But to some of you who are woke, who understand that there's a serious problem that we have in South Africa, this message is for you. And I'm going to need you guys to start taking yourselves very, very seriously. South Africa spends an average of 6 million to 6.5 million per month to deport undocumented foreigners, illegal foreigners. The total deportation budget for the Department of Home Affairs translates to an annual expenditure of 70 to 78 million rand. 70 to 78, let's call it 80 million rand a year that Home Affairs uses to deport illegal foreigners. But how many are they deporting? Between 51,000 and 69,000. Let's call it 70,000. 70,000, 80 million. 70,000 a year, of which we've got millions of undocumented foreigners in South Africa. Which means you're going to need billions to deport them, and they are obviously going to come back. So you need to accept that illegal foreigners are not going anywhere. They're not. What's even more triggering is that South African jails currently house between 22 and 27,000 foreign nationals, making up about 13 to 15% of all of the total prison population. This costs taxpayers, the Department of Correctional Service, it costs taxpayers 11 million rand per day. 11 million rand per day to look after these 22 to 27,000 foreign nationals who are sitting in our jail cells. Illegal foreigners are not going anywhere. I don't care what March and March says. I don't care what Ngizwe Mchunu and Phakelele Mthakathi says. I appreciate that they've raised this as a topic and it's being discussed. I don't see any impact. I'm not aware with the marches in Durban and Joburg and Pretoria and Mthatha and Mpumalanga. If spaza shops have closed, I'm not aware if people have been deported. I'm not aware if anything has changed fundamentally. What I see, sadly, is I see them constantly asking for money, which means this has basically become their full-time job. I see them getting some type of clout. I won't be surprised if they go into politics soon because they are building brands for themselves. But in terms of real impact, 80 million rand to deport about 70,000 people. Yes, it doesn't make sense. There are a couple of groups in South Africa who came through as somewhat of illegal foreigners and have never left. You look at what we call the Afrikaners today, who are an amalgamation of the French, the Dutch, the German, some others as well, who have come together into this group. They also have some black Khoi blood in them. We call them Afrikaners. Europe, even at its peak, they never left. You look at the Indians that were brought in as endangered labor, slaves basically, sugarcane fields in KZN. India in its boom with whatever is going on today, they are never going back. You look at the British that came here and obviously made colored children in KZN, colored children somewhere else. You've got what we call the Cape Malays from Malaysia, people from Madagascar, got some people from Ethiopia that make up some of the coloreds in the Eastern and Western Cape. They've never gone back. They are not going back. Two of the most successful economic groups in South Africa, the Jewish people, the Muslim people, who are not native black Africans, they are never going back. Foreigners in South Africa, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Ethiopian, Somalian, Malawian, Mozambican, Nigerian, Ghanaian, whatever they are not going back home. They've been here for over 30 years, some of them, and you can imagine they've had children on generations now. Some of them are playing national sports, some are top academic students, some have started businesses, some have gotten their permanent residence, some are citizens fully. They are not leaving. So some of you black South Africans are going to have to need to sit and figure out how you can actually get involved in the game, because this country is a company. The politicians don't care about you. Gayton McKenzie, Cyril Ramaphosa, Helen Zille, these guys are about money. They are not trying to solve the problems of ordinary South Africans. They do just enough to sort of keep the people quiet, but they are not fundamentally changing the economy, the policies, getting rid of people that shouldn't be here, etc. Which Helen Zille herself is first generation South African after her parents were refugees here. She's never gone back to Europe. She's comfortable here on Pola Air. And she's not the only one. Raymond Ackerman, Pick n Pay, also his parents came here as refugees. Both Pick n Pay, we celebrate him as an amazing South African. He creates jobs and never going, ever. So you can imagine the Zimbabweans, the Pakistanis, the Ethiopians, the Somalians, Generation after generation are going to build businesses, are going to build wholesalers, are going to get into logistics, are going to get into mining. And after a while, we're going to celebrate them as job creators, as amazing South Africans, and they are never going back home. I need you, if you're a leader in your community, to start saying, I'm going to focus on who my people are. Whether you want to make it cultural, nothing wrong. Don't let anyone gaslight you. I want to focus on Zulu people in my area of eMadadeni and Newcastle. And I want us to replicate what the Jews and the Muslims have done, have succeeded to do in South Africa. We are going to take over tenders in Newcastle, eMadadeni. We are going to take over the spaza shop industry in the space. We're going to take over the taxi industry in the space. We're going to take over the coal mines and other mines in Newcastle and around surrounding areas, of which those mines at some point were run by Shanduka and Glencore. We're going to take over steel, which was Iskor and then became Metal. We're going to take over that as a group of Zulu, Newcastle, Madadeni folk. And we're not going to let people from outside come and take over this economy. It's going to be ours. And we're not going to let Zulus from Durban or Ladysmith or Dandi or Vryheid come and get. This is ours. We're going to take care of it. So you're going to need to have an economic plan for your area. Forget the whole country. You don't have control over the whole country, and it's politicians and capitalists that are distracting you. We need black South Africans to aggressively get into spaza shops and to tell their neighbors, to tell their people at church, to tell the people at school, guys, we are locals, we are black South Africans, and we run spaza shops. We need you to buy from us and stop buying from my friend, because they're taking their money and they're sending it out of the country. And that's where your kids are unemployed and high on drugs and alcohol. I need black South Africans to become zamazamas and not let people from Lesotho, Malawi, Mozambique come and mine here and then complain and whine and be scared of them. Black South Africans need to say, okay, Kwede Mantashe at the ANC is protecting big mining houses from overseas. We're going to become zamazamas ourselves. We're going to get guns. Just like the taxi industry, we're going to make sure that our minerals are ours. And once we are organized, we're not even going to sell in the black market to these mining companies. We're going to create our own platforms and sell directly to market. Because we have got critical minerals in South Africa. We have got all of them, the ones that are needed for AI, for technology, for cell phones, for electric vehicles. Your cobalt, your coltan, your lithium, your chrome, your platinum, your copper, your coal, your gold, your whatever you want to call it. We've got it all here. Between South Africa and Zimbabwe, I said to Shaka Mulaudzi, an amazing mate and a mining guru who speaks about, I think 90% of platinum is between South Africa and Zimbabwe. We should be saying we will take ownership. And yes, it's going to lead to wars, because these guys are not going to take this lying down. The Glencores of this world, the Trafiguras of this world, the Vitols, of course, assisted by your BlackRocks, Fidelity, State Street. These guys are going to fund whatever rebel groups they want to call them. As we see with double M23, with Paul Kagame and the guys in the DRC. Now, these guys, they terrorists. They like an ISIS. They're like Al-Qaeda. They are they revolting against democracy. And America is going to send bombs and military. But you must fight. You must fight. Become zamazamas. Infiltrate government and fight for artisanal mining. If Jacinta, if Ngizwe, if Phakelele Mthakathi was saying we are fighting for artisanal mining, we are fighting for spaza shops, we are fighting for our neighborhoods to be fenced. We want government to give us a budget to fence Soweto. We want to fence Alex. We want to fence Deep Sluit. And we want to make sure it's only black South Africans there that are benefiting. I'm starting to build a theory around why Nhlanhla Lux left Operation Tutula. Last week, Zandile Dabula, the leader and president of Operation Tutula, also left as the leader and left as a member. I think they've seen something. I think they've realized that this fight is too big. They've realized that black South Africans themselves are not serious. A lot of them don't even care about people being here. That's why they buy from whoever and hire whoever and sleep with whoever, etc. And they help them. They collect bribes from them. They front for their businesses for funding, etc. They're like, this is not going to change. You are going to need to move like Jews and Muslims. In the area that I live in around Johannesburg, your Emerentia, Greenside, Roosevelt Park, Montgomery Park. I know also Rosebank, Illovo, those areas. The Muslims are congregating. They are building mosques. They are meeting every week. They are beginning to buy up all the residential and then all the business properties. And they are cornering the economy, at least in Gauteng. Never mind Fordsburg and Mayfair that they've colonized successfully and that they run as like a mini India, mini Middle East. The Jews have done the same. In Joburg, you think of Linksfield, you think of Sandringham, you think of Waverley. There's these Jewish neighborhoods. There's these Jewish neighborhoods where it's just Jewish people. And on Saturday, when they get to walk around, they are gunned. They are armed men with huge guns to make sure that they are safe. They've got their own schools like King David. They run industry. Bidvest, Discovery, as I said, Pick and Pay. They run the economy. They run the banks. Investec. They run Transaction Capital. They own SA Taxi, which funds taxis. Small group of 70,000 people. I think the Muslims, they might be like maybe 1 million, if not less. They're not operating like South Africans. They don't put South Africans first. They don't put black people first. The Afrikaners. I mean, we just had Nampo, the biggest agricultural festival in South Africa, where rich farmers are landing in helicopters and private planes, and Afrikaners who own ZZ2, who own Wilderklaver, who run agriculture, who are the biggest mining contractors in the country. Even if a mine is from Australia, from Canada, from America, the people that are doing the digging are Afrikaners. They are running ShopRite. They are running PEP. They are running Capitec. They were running DSTV, MultiChoice. They are organized. I think there's maybe 1.5, 2 million of them as well. Small groups. They're not worried about black South Africans. They're not worried about you. You need to worry about yourself. And again, emulating them. Forget black South Africans as a whole. Forget. There's too many of you. You guys have got different interests. And you've got leaders that don't care about you. Julius Malema's rich. Fikile Mbalula's rich. Cyril Ramaphosa's rich. You've got guys like Herman Mashaba who's rich. Musi Maimane, I'm sure at some point is going to become rich. These guys are about making money. About Gayton Mackenzie Cyril have got mines in Zimbabwe. Some of these guys, about Thabo Mbeki, have got mines in the DRC, in Angola. These guys are about making money for themselves. And I'm going to need you to stop giving them power, energy, resources, and focus on your own communities. If I could, I'd spend 1 year, I'd take a sabbatical and spend 1 year traveling around South Africa like Jesus Christ, spreading a message of saying, build stockpiles in these neighborhoods, put tax plaza shops in the schools and in the churches, make sure that you're buying from your own people, take that money, set up community farms where you guys are building your own farms, and these farms are selling produce through the plaza shops at the church, at the schools. I need you guys to make sure that you're taking money and you're fencing your neighborhood. It's gated, and then you guys have members, you have fingerprint access, you have facial recognition. You know every single person in this neighborhood. All the businesses in this neighborhood are owned almost like a monarch, almost like the UAE socialism, to say we all have a share in the businesses here, and all the profits get funded in the schools, they get funded in the churches. The reason we don't have potholes, the reason our clinic operates like a private clinic is because of all the profits from this economy that we own here, including any minerals that we have in the area and any other businesses that you have. You're going to have to take yourself seriously or nothing will change. The politicians do not care about you. They only care about money. And the more we give them power, the more we sit and interview them and let them lie to us, and we listen to their manifestos and we protest and we sing and gumnandi, we are destroying ourselves. And if it's not going to be some of you, it's going to be some of us that are going to get organized. You know, as much as we are not galvanized, my community of, never mind my colored and white and Indian friends, forget them. I appreciate them and I love them very much. The black people in my circle are very well off. We're not into politics. We're not into campaigning, and we are well off. We are building businesses. We are making an impact. We're creating jobs. But, so I don't need that. I'm not poor. I'm not living in a shack or ikasi. But I really want you guys to rise up. You know, apartheid, outside of oppression, outside of forced removals, outside of being kept out of the mainstream economy, I can tell you now, yes, white Afrikaners, the vast majority are racist. But apartheid was eventually going to turn into something beautiful for black people. I can tell you now. If the globalists, the global capitalists did not intervene and dismantle it, I fundamentally believe one of the reasons Verwoerd was assassinated was because they had an economic model that was actually going to uplift black people. And the Zulus and KZN were going to build a strong economy, and the Tswanas and Putatswanas were going to build a strong economy, and the vendors were going to build a strong economy, and the Amaklas are going to build a strong economy. We had phenomenal institutions like Forte, University of Zululand. We had banks like VBS. We had Poputatswana, which was developing phenomenally. Never mind Royal Bafokeng. People were developing. Black people were developing. They were building banks. They were building institutions. They were building economies. Eventually, they were going to run the ports. They were going to start mining. But it was like, we can't have this development. Build a rainbow nation. Let's centralize the power so that we don't have black people moving up in the world. I think that's where we are now. And then make sure you dismantle the state-owned enterprises which uplifted Afrikaners out of poverty. Dismantle them and privatize everything and make sure that everyone is a grant recipient. And put up so much red tape that people cannot build banks. They cannot get into mining. They cannot get into farming. This is such an important conversation, and the fact that people are not having it is disastrous. And this is for black South Africans, but I can tell you now, all Africans across the continent, my Congolese brothers and sisters in the Congo with the minerals that you have, my Angolan brothers and sisters with the oil that you have in Angola, the Nigerians with the oil and the gas. It can't be that you guys are just worshipping Aliko Dangote and Femi Otedola. You guys are meant to be involved there. The Zimbabweans are leaving wealth in Zimbabwe. There's farms, there's lithium, there's tobacco in Zimbabwe. There's wealth. Mozambique has got a pumping harbor and port. It should be one of the biggest importer from China to the rest of the African continent. Papano Pasha wrote an amazing piece around how Ghana does not have the moral authority to come speak out or call out South Africa, challenge South Africa around xenophobia when they have earmarked jobs in Ghana for locals. They have kicked out foreigners in Ghana from back in the 1930s, 1960s. But they have the audacity. Ghanaians who have been chased out of Nigeria, Nigerians who have chased out Ghanaians, want to have the audacity to come and tell South Africa something which tells me that there's an agenda here around the xenophobia, what. There's an agenda, and it has to do with capitalism, and it has to do with critical minerals on the African continent. And the so-called politicians who are puppets for the West, for global capital, who do not give a fuck about the citizens and who are entrenching the Berlin Conference, saying that no, these are going to remain different companies, we call countries, that serve Western agendas. I'm going to stop there. It's very upsetting. Black South Africans need to catch a fucking wake up. Now. And again, maybe at some point, once I can raise funding, I want to travel around the whole of South Africa, lighting a spark to say, you guys need to wake up. You guys need to wake up and take full control of your local economies. Forget national economy. Forget the continent. Your local economy. And stop sending your kids to big cities there and leaving wealth back home so that foreigners, white, Asian, African, are coming in to come and build their wealth in your kasi, in your squatter camp, in your town, when you claim that there's no money there because you're sleeping. You need to wake up.